Hi, good evening. Good evening, Kavita. So today is a slightly different topic, which a lot of people have been talking about, and it's slightly confusing also. So we'll go through that and see what Ayurveda says about Virudha. Okay, many a times people feel that everything is all about food only, right? So we'll slowly start getting into this and see. Okay. Yeah, Cynthia, I'll answer your question once I just give a small talk about Virudha. You can go through the Virudha also. So let's slowly start then. Okay. So welcome to these sessions, weekly sessions, which we have every week, Tuesday at 9 p.m. IST. So today we are going to talk about Virudha. Virudha or incompatibility in Ayurveda. A lot of people discuss about a lot of things about Virudha, and I will try to explain what Charaka basically says about Virudha. Okay, so Virudha is basically incompatibility. It has been explained in detail by Charakacharya. Okay, he has mentioned 18 different kinds of Viruddhas, and I'll go through all the 18 Viruddhas and try to explain to them why they have been told as Virudha. Okay, and then after that we can take the question answers. I'll finish this pretty fast. Don't worry at all. Okay, then I'll start coming to your questions. Okay. So look at this now. Okay, so there are 18 as said. Okay, so let us start one by one. So there are, the first one is, every slide I've got 4. So we'll go through 4, 4, 4, 4. So Desha Virudha. Okay, so Desha Virudha is, there are different kinds of lands. Some places are predominantly Vata, some predominantly, wet lands, some are dry lands. So eating dry food in a dry land, is not supposed to be compatible. So it's basically not about only specific foods. It's about what habits you do also. So it's very broad. Okay. Or oily food in marshy land is also not good. Then Kala Virudha season. You know that in summer seasons we are not supposed to eat salt, sour, and spicy food. So eating spicy food in summer is basically Kala Virudha, it's against the season. Then Agni Virudha, against your digestion. Okay, so eating heavy food when you don't have proper digestion, when Manda Agni, when your digestion is not very good, you go for a feast, you see something very tasty and start consuming it, is also considered to be Virudha. Okay, it might be the best and the most nutritious food, food which is actually apt for the season, for that land, everything fine, but your Agni is not good. So when you eat that, not in comparison with your Agni, it becomes Agni Virudha. Okay, then Matra Virudha. Okay, Matra Virudha here is basically, when we look at quantities, in the sense, if you mix ghee and honey in the same quantity, 1:1, it is considered to be Virudha. So never mix honey and ghee in same quantity. Okay, that is Virudha. So 4 Virudha is done. So next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Satmya Virudha. In the sense, if somebody is extremely used to eating spicy food, don't try to force him to eat sweet foods which are not spicy, and force him to take sweet foods. Or the other way around also. If somebody is so used to having food which is sweet, don't actually force spicy food on him. Dosha Virudha. Okay, if somebody is predominantly Vata, don't give him basically food or anything, or even activities which are actually increasing Vata. Then Sanskara Virudha. Sanskara is basically cooking or preparation. What is Virudha? If you heat honey. Okay, heating honey is actually Virudha. Virya Virudha. Okay, Virya Virudha is basically consuming milk with fish. So, Cynthia, that answers your question also. Why does salt make it incompatible with milk? If you look at tastes, okay, it is not only salt, anything that is salty too is not supposed to be mixed with milk, because if you look at tastes, you have got predominantly three tastes: spicy, sour, and salt. Okay, and we notice that these three tastes are not supposed to be consumed in summer, because if you look at these three tastes, which one? Salt, sour, and spicy, they have got, I don't know whether you know about, Cynthia, you might be knowing about the five basic elements, space, uh, air, fire, water, and earth. All these three tastes, they contain fire element. And of all these three things, salt is the hottest. Okay, we sometimes feel that spicy thing is hottest. No, salt is the hottest. Okay, so when something which is the hottest, it is not supposed to be mixed with something which is as cooling as milk. Okay, that's the reason why salt, anything which is salty, is not mixed with milk. Okay, so then Virya Virudha. Milk and fish. Most of the fishes, are Ushna in property, so we are not supposed to mix milk with fish. Okay, and fish also is Abhishandi. It increases kapha a little bit too much. It is not good to be mixed. Koshtha Virudha. Okay, Koshtha is basically how your bowel movements are. If your bowel movements are very hard, okay, you don't give mild purgatives. That will actually create more problems. If it is very hard, then you should basically give slightly strong but what, oily purgative for vata people. Okay, something which has got that lubrication. So that is Koshtha Virudha. Now Avastha Virudha. Okay, so what happens? Immediately after physical exercise, that means that avastha, that stage is that you have done a lot of physical activity. After you've done a lot of physical activity, what happens? Your vata actually goes up. But after that, if you consume dry food, which will again increase the vata, that is not good. So that is avastha Virudha. Okay, then krama Virudha. Krama is in order. Okay, one after the other. You cannot take a shower after having a meal. But you can actually have a meal. You can actually take a shower and then have a meal. But don't take a shower after a meal. Immediately after that, order is wrong. Okay. Then what? Parihara Virudha. Okay, trying to manage something. If you feel your thing is not digested properly, you have consumed meat, pork, for example, and you feel that's not digested properly, or you're feeling like, don't consume hot water after that, because it will release a lot of fat which you might not be able to handle. It will cause abhishandi. So you might feel, oh, let me drink hot water. But in such conditions, parihara means that is the solution. Okay, it is Virudha. That solution is Virudha. Then what? Upachara Virudha. Upachara means what? It is an act. Okay, if somebody is consuming ghee, and after ghee, it's always good to drink hot water. Never drink cold water on top of ghee. It will not digest. It will actually clog all the pores. Okay. And then Paka Virudha. Okay, Paka is basically cooking. Paka Virudha is don't consume anything which is undercooked or which is overcooked. That means something which is burnt and all those things. Never consume that. That is Virudha. Okay. Samyoga Virudha. Your question, Cynthia, as you asked, sour and salty things with milk. Okay. Now, Hridaya Virudha. Hridaya Virudha is something which you cannot eat. In the sense, if I'm somebody, even though I'm somebody who consumes non-veg, but if I go to some other place where they consume meat which I'm not able to, like snakes and octopus and all those things, if my heart is not okay with it, it again becomes Hridaya Virudha. Okay, that means it is Virudha to my heart. Two more to go. Sampat Virudha. Okay, so something which is not Sampat is it has not reached age, So eating in either unripe fruit or overripe and rotten fruit. So you should eat the right thing. So even eating that is actually considered to be Virudha. Then Vidhi Virudha. Vidhi means rules, like eating food in the open is one example, or probably laughing while eating, talking while eating, all those things, sleeping in the open, all those things. So mostly of these things, if you look at Virudha, it is not only about combinations of food, it is a lot of things around food also. Okay. So these are the basically 18 Virudhas which Acharya Charaka has explained. Okay. And now one more slide, you can start asking your questions. So when you consume Virudha, what is going to happen? Okay, it is directly going to affect your health, and diseases. There are a lot many. I've just given you one of the few things. Jwara is fever. Ajirna is indigestion. Krimi is worms. Atisara is diarrhea. Grahani is you feel like passing motions immediately after food. Something like IBS. Okay, Kushta is all skin disease. Especially for Kushta, when you look at what causes skin issues, the first thing what Acharya says is Mithyahara Viharana Visheshena Virodhina. By taking Virudha Ahara, not only Ahara but also Vihara, or as I said, taking a shower after bath, taking a shower after food, all those things are the main reasons for skin diseases. So we see so many skin cases coming to us these days is because of lots and lots of Virudha happening out there. Okay. And Amavata is basically most very, very difficult joint issues. So all these things basically are a result of Virudhahara. Okay. So you can start asking your questions. That's not a problem. Okay. So Cynthia, I see that quantity of ghee is to honey. Is it by weight or volume? Is basically, I would say both. If you take 1 teaspoon of ghee and 1 teaspoon of honey, it's by and large weight wise. Yes, honey might be slightly heavier. Okay, but by and large, if these two are of the same quantity, by volume or by weight, okay, if you take it in equal quantity, it is supposed to be Virudha. Okay, but the best part is that you take those in equal quantity, but you add a third thing into it. It could be dry ginger, or it could be a little bit of powder of black pepper, or some other medicine you add into it. It is not Virudha after that. Only when you take only these two. Otherwise, some people confuse you by telling that you are never, even when you are, suppose you are taking some medicine for cough and you're adding ghee and honey into it. They'll say immediately, don't add ghee and honey in the same quantity. No, it is not that. If you have got a third thing there, the equal quantity of honey and ghee is not Virudha. Okay. So hope that is clear. Okay. So it is basically, yes, it is basically a weight or volume either way, so don't take it in equal quantities. But as I said, if there is a third thing which is added into it, for example, ghee and honey taken the same quantity, and if you add maybe dry ginger or dry pepper into it, if there's a third thing, then it is not Virudha. Okay. Next question, Arvind. Can salt be added in buttermilk? Yes, you can add a little bit of salt in buttermilk, but atyalavanam, excess of salt is always bad. So you can add a little bit to taste. You can add it because buttermilk, many people think that buttermilk is actually cold. No, buttermilk is not very cold. Buttermilk, see, curd is, or yogurt is Ushna, and when you churn and take the butter out of it, okay, what remains, the buttermilk, is also Ushna, but the difference is that it's light, and so it opens all the, because it is also slightly acidic, and Kashaya Rasa, it opens up all the pores. Okay, but it is Ushna. Salt is also Ushna, buttermilk is also Ushna. Okay, but that is not the only criteria. We take into a lot of other things. So bottom line, yes, you can add salt to taste in buttermilk. Okay. Any other questions? So Virudha is something, a lot of people, you will see a lot of posts also on Instagram, and sometimes, even when I consult patients, they give me, I eat this with this, that with that. Is it okay? Sometimes I am also not very sure whether that is Virudha or not. So I take this rule, if I am in a doubt whether that is Virudha or not, then I tell that patient, yes, I say it is Virudha. Okay, please avoid that. Okay, unless and same thing applies to you also. If you feel that this might not go, then always avoid it. Likewise, when you're eating fruits also, sometimes you probably might mix different kinds of fruits inside in one bowl, and you'll start eating it. I would say it's always good to eat one fruit at a time. For lunch, have a fruit. For breakfast, have another fruit. I don't want you to mix both the fruit and have. Okay, because it's easy. Once it goes inside, we don't know how it's going to interact. Same thing happens when you go out to have dinner or lunch with a few friends, maybe 10 of your friends, and all the 10 of you might order different kinds of food. And what you do is you end up, this is tasty, eat this is tasty, eat, and you end up eating everything. One might be fish, one might be mutton, one might be chicken, one might be paneer, one might be mushroom, lot of things. People order and you eat everything. At the end of the meal, you also end up eating some dessert. Everything was so tasty, but somehow, what happens is, it might be tasty for the time, but once it goes inside, we don't know how they are going to interact and have. So I would say, if you're going out to eat also, stick to one thing what you eat. Next time when you go, you can eat something else. Next time you go, you can eat something else. I don't want you to eat everything that is being served over there. Okay, that could become Virudha, and that can lead to all the complications which I've written over there, especially skin diseases. Okay. Any other question? Yes, Aravind, what you say is true. Same thing happens when we share tiffins, But when you see, when we were kids, by and large, when we used to take tiffins out to school, I used to notice that we had about 10, 20 kids in school. Most of us, by and large, bring almost the same, a little bit difference here and there. Apart from that, we don't, because all of us belong to the same place, almost same eating habits, and same vegetables grow, and all of us probably might be cooking almost the same dish every day, even though we different households. But things have changed now. People order in a lot of things people prepare, everything is available in different parts. So when kids take their tiffin out to school, and open it up, they start sharing, might not be very good. But okay, Arvind, I would want to add one thing what Sushruta says. Okay, Sushruta says, when he talks about Virudha, he says somebody who does regular exercise, not really well. Okay, somebody who does regular exercise really well, the effects of Virudha on him is always less. So that doesn't mean that you can indulge in Virudhahara just because you are doing a lot of exercises. No, that's not what I meant. He says a person who does exercises really well, the effects of Virudha is low. Preeti, for people aged between 45 to 55 to improve the digestion and bowel movements, how and when can we use Triphala Churna or tablet? Okay, Triphala Churna or tablet, yes, you can consume it on a daily basis. It is not at all a problem, but let me tell this very clearly. If the person is extremely Vata Prakriti or extremely dry, thin, lean, dry, and his gut is also extremely dry, Triphala Churna might not be very effective after a certain point of time, because initially, see, any powder, anything in the powder form actually dries the system up. Okay, so because of the presence of Haritaki, the person is passing motion. Haritaki is also extreme Kashaya Rasa. It will dry your system down. Okay, so after a point of time, he'll get used to Triphala Churnam and he'll not pass motion. So Triphala Churnam is not the solution for what you call improved digestion and for constipation for everybody, especially for constipation for people who's see, normal people, for persons who are kapha person, he might not have too much of constipation. If he takes a little bit of triphala at night, he'll pass really soft bowels. But for a vata person, it is always good to see that he takes something which is lubricating. Castor oil is good, or even ghee is actually good. You can mix triphala churnam with ghee and start giving a person whose gut is very dry. Okay. Is it okay to drink buttermilk after eating rice with mutton curry for lunch, or is it incompatible? Okay. See, these questions, I would, if you are somebody who keeps on eating that, and I don't meet patients who do this. Sometimes, let me put it this way. Okay, Kavita. If a person comes to me and he's got a problem and he says this is what he does, I would tell him to give it a pause for the time being. Okay, and if you're somebody who's really weak, or I would tell him to first stop eating mutton for some time. Okay, if a patient comes to me, but by and large, if you're healthy and you have been eating mutton rice for quite some time, I would say it is okay for you to have. But drinking buttermilk at the end of, if the buttermilk is well made and the butter has been removed really well and it's thin, it is fine for you. But I wouldn't say you can have raita. Okay, that you should be very careful. Onion raita along with mutton biryani might not be a very good option. Okay, but drinking a glass of buttermilk after mutton rice, I think it should be okay. Yeah, Aravind, I focus. See, the thing is that let me tell you, Acharya has told that in summers, okay, patu kattu amras tejet, avoid spicy, salty, and sour foods. And vyayamas tejet, avoid vyayama, avoid exercise is what has been told in summer seasons. This you just understand that you can follow the text, yes, but one thing you should realize: the text was written close to about 2,000 years back. In 2,000 years back, nobody had a cycle or a car or whatever it is. They had to walk for everything, and they were not sitting at home. Most of them are farmers. They had to walk a lot every day for their livelihood. So that Acharya said, don't walk. So he said, you do all those walking and all those roaming around in summers. You don't have to do anything extra in the form of exercise. You have told Bala Virudha. Kids and elderly people need not do exercise at all as far as exercise goes, because I don't think Acharya ever thought that a day would come where a 3-year-old child, okay, rather than running around, jumping, falling down, climbing trees, doing all those things, will sit on a mobile and not do anything and become really go out of shape. So kids and elderly people also have to do exercise. Times have changed. Okay, you should try to understand what was the reason why Acharya told that kids need not do exercise. Okay, exercise is something which you have to do on a daily basis, but use only half your strength. Yeah, Cynthia, a friend had a recurring outbreak of hives. Okay, so if you look at hives, it's basically considered to be on the skin. We can take it as a skin issue. Okay, if you look at skin issues, most of the pulses, lentils, are apatya. Okay, in the sense they are contraindicated. They are not incompatible, but when this problem is there, they are not supposed to be taken. The one major lentil which they can take is green gram or moong dal. Moong, okay, in the US you call that mung. Okay, So that is something which you can take. And also masoor dal, which is orangish in color. Okay, anything which is over, when the person consumes too much of protein, okay, what happens is itching goes up, because protein is not something which is very easy to digest. It will cause agni problem. Okay, your question is very good. Okay, ask the person to avoid most of the rajma, chole, okay, all those things, kabuli chana and all, every pulse, ask him to avoid and have mostly moong dal. Okay. Good evening, Ramesh. Okay, so today is Dhanvantari Jayanti. So Dhanvantari is considered to be the person who came out of the, it's a mythological story, who came out of the ocean with this whole wisdom of what do you call, health. So today is his day, Dhantrayas. So I would say, it is not basically for doctors anyway. It is basically for everybody, because everybody can contribute in healing somebody. Need not be by medicine. There's something called adravya chikitsa. Okay, dravya chikitsa is by giving medicines. Adravya chikitsa is basically no medicine. So what are the things which everybody can do without medicine? You can have some empathy. You can show some concern. You can love somebody, your neighbor, whoever it is, compassion. All those things come under adravya chikitsa. Okay, so in whatever way, each and everybody can actually contribute to care and make this world a much better place. Okay, only thing, you should have the patience, you have the time to basically listen to them. That is more than enough. Okay, so it is not only meant for doctors. Dhanvantari Jayanti, happy Dhanvantari Jayanti to all the doctors. No, Dhanvantari was not a doctor. He did not have his degree or something. He was somebody who came here to care people. He just spread the science, of what he knew. So I think all of you should basically look into it and do that. Okay. Detailed mention of diseases originating from the mind. Yes. Okay. There are Manasika Roga is one thing which has been mentioned. Unmada, Basma, a lot of things have been mentioned here. Okay, so that is there, Arvind. So, and one thing I want to tell you is, if you look at the definition of health, swastha, according to Sushruta, okay, he says samadosha, samagnishta, samadhatu, malakriya. I'll tell you the first line. Samadosha, that means all the vata pitta, samadosha, it has been balanced. Samadosha, samagnischa, your digestion, all the agnis, we have got 13 agnis, all the agnis are in equilibrium. Samadosha, samadhatu, all the dhatu, all the tissues are in equilibrium. Malakriya, all your excretion process, okay, are in equilibrium. This is basically the physical part of it. Okay, so all these things have to be in equilibrium. The second line, prasanna atma indriya mana. Okay, prasanna means not happy or joyful, it's basically contented. Okay, prasanna atma, soul. In atma indriya, your senses. That means you have made enough money, you have all those things. You wanna go out and say, no, I have seen enough, I've heard enough, I've all those. That means you're contented. Prasanna atma indriya mana. And your mind also, if it is contented, that is a stage where a person is considered to be swastha. Okay, so that much of importance has been given to soul, mind, and the effect of all these things. Mind is, lot of things have been told, Arvind. Okay. Yeah, Valishri, you can ask one question in general. What is it? Okay, so coming back to Virudha, I would say Satmya is something which is a very important word. That means that which you are used to. Okay, so if you are somebody who is used since childhood to taking yogurt every day in the afternoon, okay, I don't usually tell them, if they are in a disease condition, I tell them to give it a break. Otherwise, I don't tell them too much, because it's something called Satmya. That means you're used to it. Okay, so I am used to taking coconut oil as my cooking oil. just because somebody does some research in some other part of the world and says that coconut oil is the best oil, somebody who is from Tamil Nadu, who is used to having sesame oil as a cooking oil, that is satmya for that person. He should not think, oh, let me stop taking sesame oil and then let me start taking coconut oil, because some scientists in some other part of the world told that coconut oil is the best. Don't do that. What is satmya for you? Stick to that. That is genetically, that promotes health for you because you are genetically used to it. Is exercise an effect? Is as effective when it is done parallel with something like listening to something, watching something, etc. In the sense, what people do is they run on the treadmill watching TV. If that is what you are referring to, okay. Every activity, okay, even when you go through the text of Ayurveda, even though when they're telling about eating, there's you see that word being repeated like tanmana. Tanmana means, tat means in that, mana means your mind in that. So I would always say, if you are exercising, or if you're going to the gym to exercise also, they'll be playing some music in the background. Okay, you can't stop that, let it happen. But when you go to the gym also, your main thing should be to do something, But I don't know, rather than sitting and talking to, in between doing some exercises, your body listens to, it's basically about the energy what you create. If you are in that tanmana, okay, that is when that also contributes to you, Alishri. Okay, it's not only about exercise. See, you are walking on the treadmill, you are listening to some music and walking. I don't say no, okay, but I would say the best thing for you to do is focus on what you're doing so that the results are much better. So even if you are walking for, you plan to walk for an hour, you're watching a TV and walking, sometimes there is something which is going in your body which should probably ask you to stop. It might go unnoticed. You might overdo your exercise sometimes, You are not mindful as to what is happening. So I would say always good to be focused on what you're doing. See, allergy can happen to anything and anybody. Incompatibility, as you say, Virudha, also incompatibility can happen with people also. Kavita, sometimes what happens is you might have somebody who is the best person in the college, but you can't stand him. Okay, there are a lot of people who are okay with him, but certain people are not okay with him. There are a lot of reasons which are explained and unexplained. Allergy is something which is very, very, very difficult to understand. If somebody is allergic to milk, okay, it can be since birth, or it can also be acquired after some time. So I would say if somebody is allergic to something or somebody, stay away from it. Okay, there is something called prabhava. Okay, prabhava in general is that you don't know how by and large. See, there are certain, when you take two herbs, they've got the same qualities. Okay, then you can predict how they are going to act. But two drugs, when they've got the same qualities, but one behaves in certain way and one behaves in a very, very different way. Like if you take how do I call that, haritaki. Okay, it's got problems. So the problem with haritaki is the moment you take after something, you pass motions. So that property of haritaki, we call that prabhava. It is called achintyam shakti. You can't even think why it's acting like that. So sometimes it so happens that certain things will not suit you. All those things cannot be explained. But certain things, yes, because there is a lot of phlegm in your body. If you take, at that point of time, if you take buttermilk, that is definitely allergic. Okay, so once you treat the person and that phlegm completely goes on, and then he takes curd after that, it might not be allergic. Okay, so allergy, we don't know why sometimes certain things are allergic, but otherwise, if it's allergic, people, food, anything, avoid. Normally we don't do this. Okay, combining milk and tulsi, we don't do this very rarely. We boil tulasi because tulasi is extremely ushna and tikshna, while milk is not. But okay, now there is something which I want to explain. Lashuna or garlic is extremely ushna tikshna, but it is actually boiled in milk, and that milk is being consumed. Okay, so it is not, sometimes it is not only the virya. Okay, it is also because how that can react with milk. So normally I have not seen milk and tulsi being added, but when we do a puja, when you give milk as prasada, some people put tulsi leaves on top of it and do archana and all those things. I think that might be okay as long as you don't process it. Okay. Yes, joint pains. One thing is the kind of food they eat, and second thing is they are extremely immobile, sedentary life, and they might not be obese sometimes, but sedentary life. If you look at Ayurveda, Ashtanga Hridaya, Gandaspik Shushka Sandhi Vedana. Sandhi Vedana is joint pain. Sandhi Vedana has been mentioned in Mamsa Kshaya, or loss of muscle. So loss of muscle strength is the main reason for joint pain, according to Ashtanga Hridaya. And now modern people say that you strengthen the muscles around the joints and your joints will improve. So this has been told long back. So what you have to do is, the reason why people get joint pain is not only because of the food, they're so sedentary, the muscles are not toned at all. Start doing exercises. Your joint pain will be much, much better. And start eating right food also. Welcome. Yeah, Cynthia. Yeah, see you. See you in New York soon. It was last year. So probably next year I might be, there are talks going on, and next year I might be coming to US, and we can definitely meet Cynthia. Okay. Namaste. Yeah. Yes, Arvind, I just answered that. I personally feel that it is their lack of. See, the food which they consume is all fattening foods nowadays. Everything contains cheese, mayonnaise, and timings have gone wrong, and even partyings have gone up. Staying awake at night have happened, and nobody walks. They either use the public transport. That too very rare. They have got their own two-wheelers and cars, and nobody's exposed to summer at all. They don't see the sun. The skin, I don't know when was the last time the skin got exposed to sunlight. And as I said, Sandhi Vedana or joint pain has been mentioned in Mamsa Kshaya or muscle loss. So lack of exercise, lot of factors are in, everything, keep on adding 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. At the end of the day, it's not only joint pain, lot of issues. Okay. Young generation is really suffering. Okay. So, any other question? Pragya, is doing Nasya good for someone, okay, new gen SM1, who's allergic to the pet's hair. Okay, Nidana Parivarjanam Chikitsa. That's what Ayurveda says. Nidana Parivarjanam Chikitsa means avoiding the causative factor. That is the treatment. So if you are allergic, I might be harsh with you, if you're allergic to pet's hair, avoid pet's hair. For that, probably you will have to avoid exposure to pet. That is the only permanent solution. Okay, if you do Nasya, yes, temporarily you might feel some relief, but otherwise, no. Okay, that is not the solution. Avoiding the causative factor. So this is what happened with most people. Okay, I'm not telling you in specific. Mostly this is what happened with people. People want to keep on doing what they have been doing, but they want a cure for it. It is not possible. Okay, but otherwise, sneezing, running nose due to some allergy. Again, if that is allergy, I would say, if you're working in a chemical factory and if you're allergic to some chemicals, what treatment can you do? Okay, you have to probably wear a mask and not get exposed to that chemical. But if you're still getting exposed to the chemical, I'm telling you, if you are allergic to something and you do something to suppress it and you're continuously getting exposed to the same allergen, you will end up having bigger problems because it's all cumulative. After a point of time, that medicine will not work for you, that which suppresses. You have to increase the dose. After that, you will definitely crash. So in my opinion, avoid the causative factors. Anything else? Okay. So, Virudha is something I don't think you should be thinking too much. I would say don't mix things, random things, especially smoothies. I've seen people mix whatnot. Green leafy vegetables, they put a little bit of fruits, they put some vegetable, they put some pulses, they add some milk, they put everything into it, and they mix it and they drink it, they say they're having healthy food. I would not recommend that at all. Okay, after going inside, it blocks all, in my opinion, it will create a lot of issues. Okay, smoothies especially. So be aware as to what you're eating. Eat one fruit at a time, cook one vegetable at a time. You keep on rotating it. We are not somebody who should consume everything in a single day. Okay, we are not just like not daily laborers. You have to keep on having that frequently. Have spinach one day, have pulses the next day, have some vegetable the next day, have other vegetables the next. So in a week's time, probably you'll be eating about 6 to 7 vegetables, and you'll have. So that is the way you have to eat. You don't have to eat all the 7 veggies on a single day. Okay, so that is what creates a lot of virudha, because you want to mix a lot of things and have making things easy. It is not easy at all. Okay. So shall we come to end of today's session? We'll meet next week with some other topic. Okay. So thanks a lot. Good night. And happy Deepavali to all of you. Okay, Deepavali is coming the day after tomorrow. And I want you to stay safe. Okay, and not be careful, Deepavali of late has started becoming more Shabdavali, more of sound rather than light. Okay, so be careful when you burst crackers. Enjoy. Okay, have a lot of sweets, and see you next week. Okay. Kavita, I'll take that question and then answer. Okay, line of treatment for anxiety and depression. According to Ayurveda, anxiety and depression also comes under Manasika Roga. Okay, so it is very, very important for that person to understand why he is getting anxious. Without understanding what the causative factor is, why the person is getting anxious, it is very difficult to find out. Depression should know why the person is getting depressed. You can't generally say I'm depressed or I'm anxious. What is the thing is that you can't what do you call, beat around it and say I'm anxious. No, there might be certain things what you're anxious about, and I would say counseling is one thing which Ayurveda mentions a lot, when it comes to any kind of mental issues. Okay, so that is something which medicines also have been mentioned. Okay, what do you call, and life and the truths of life is something which the person has to basically get exposed to. So Ayurveda actually handles it really well. Okay, not only with medicines, but it gives more focus on counseling. Okay, Kavita. Yes, Vallishri. Yes, when you come to Kerala, you can come to Kerala. Most welcome. I'm in a small town called Tripunithura, about 8 to 10 kilometers away from Ernakulam town. You just let me know in advance. We can definitely meet. Okay. Okay, good. Rajini. Raw greens versus cooked greens. Raw greens versus cooked greens, right? Okay, so It's not about good or bad here, Rajini. Ayurveda does not say anything is good or bad or something. It can only create. It all depends upon your Agni. Raw greens or cooked greens. Anything that is cooked actually is easier to digest. Okay, people feel that, oh, I had something, a bowl of salad, I think I had something very light. No. Okay, something which is uncooked is always uh, difficult to digest compared to the same one if it is cooked. Okay, so if people don't have a proper digestion or the digestion is very poor, I would say have a salad but steam cook it and have it. Okay, it will digest faster. So same thing, if cooked, it digests faster. That's all. Okay, so it's not about good or bad. Okay. Okay then. Good night. See you next week with another topic. Happy Diwali.